guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about all the books I read in September. I read 6 books in total, which I always think there's so much pressure in the book community. Like, some people read so much, but I'm here to tell you that however many books you read, it's totally fine. If it's one book, if it's half a book, if it's one page, the fact that you read something, that you took the time to sit down and read something, as little as it might seem to others, it's still great. And I think that nobody should feel ashamed for the amount of books that they read. Let's start. First of all, I read Yellowface. I would not think that I would ever pick this book up. I know there was a huge hype, but I said that before. Whenever there's a hype, I'm like, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's exaggerated. I probably won't like it. But one of my local book clubs picked this book for August. They actually ended up canceling that book club and we postponed it. So I just went to that book club a couple days ago. And I must say, I did not expect this to be as great as it was. A little bit of background for the people who have not heard about this book, even though everyone talked and posted about it and whatnot. This book is about a white woman who ends up stealing a manuscript from her Asian friend, and the friend died. I think that's not a spoiler. Yes, okay, it's not a spoiler. So she ends up taking the manuscript from her deceased friend, who is an Asian woman, and the book is about Asian history, and she publishes the book as her own. And it goes from there. It definitely touched a lot of topics: racism, microaggressions, white privilege, of course. And I thoroughly enjoyed the book. She also mentioned some of the books where this topic came up, like the fact when a white author writes about the experience that people of color might have. One of the books that comes to mind is American Dirt. I don't know, actually, I will not put that up here. That's fine. Because that's actually one of the books where there was a huge outrage. It's a white lady, and she writes about Mexican experience, like fleeing the border and stuff. And I actually read the book for a book club, but afterwards I found out about the controversy and I decided not to rate it, not to talk about it, like, positively. I mean, I'm mentioning it now just because it's also mentioned in this book, actually. Because what this person in this book does is the exact same thing. She talks about experiences that she has nothing to do with whatsoever, and she's dealing with the consequences. This was hilarious at times because the author, who, as I said, is Asian, so she can make those comments. Like, she would say stuff like, I thought she was Korean, but now she's Chinese. Doesn't matter. All Asian people are the same, or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. But it is the funniest thing because she literally talks like a privileged white woman who is racist, but wouldn't say that, or wouldn't think that. She's like, oh, I'm not racist, I have an Asian friend. This is how I think she would be. Juniper Song, the character in the book. So it was definitely something else. I liked it more than I thought I would. And as I said, it made me laugh. The sarcasm, the dark humor sometimes. It was definitely a wild ride. The end dragged a little. I thought it was a little long. And from the very beginning, I was like, okay, where's this going? If she already, like, everything happens very quickly. And it's like, okay, there's still 80% of the book left. What's gonna come? But it is actually filled with a lot of situations that we wouldn't think about, but she is facing them. And she is definitely getting what she deserves at times. So I can recommend this book. I gave it 4 stars. Great work. And yeah, the next book is a poetry book. I did not know that before. I also didn't know that how short it was, but it makes sense. This is the book, Chlorine Sky by Mahogany L. Browne, and it is pretty short, only also because it is a huge poem. So these pages look like this. So it is relatively short. I think the audiobook is 2 hours, and it is different than any other books I read. Also because I don't really read poetry or written in this style. It was nice. It was not what I expected, and I'm not too much into poetry, so this just wasn't my cup of tea. But if you like poems, then this is definitely something I would ask you to try. As I said, the audiobook is only 2 hours and the author is narrating it herself. That's what I really enjoyed, because also I really heard the emotions that she placed and the emphasis she made on each sentence where something like sad or emotional happened. So go check it out. The next book I read, well, I listened to because I did the audio version, is this one, Missing Molly by Natalie Barelli. And I accidentally saw this book on a Facebook group. Someone talked about it and I didn't pay it no mind. And then someone else talked about it too, and I kept seeing it, and people said, oh, this is really good. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. There was no wait on Libby, so I was like, here we go. It was a long drive that I had to make, so it was perfect. And I quite enjoyed it as well. So Missing Molly is all about Rachel, I forgot her last name. Rachel, she works at a local newspaper, and then that newspaper is facing bankruptcy, and they try to go with time and create a podcast so they would get more funding, or they would get the money to keep that newspaper going. So for that podcast, they decided to do a true crime podcast looking up an old cold case, which is Molly Foster. She was like, I think 6 years old or something whenever she went missing, the same day her whole family got murdered. And nobody heard of her since. So that's being said, Rachel can let nobody know, or Rachel is freaking out because she actually is Molly Foster and she wants this podcast to not happen. Things go from there. And I thought the story was pretty cool. I also, again, like with the yellow face, confused. Okay, what is this about? What's going to happen if you bring all that up in the first 10 minutes? I already know that you're Molly Foster, so that's what's going to happen now. But it was still intense at times, and the story unfolded more and more. I really enjoyed it. My mom actually ended up listening to the last 2 or 3 hours with me as well. She said she also liked it very much. So we both approve. I also have another book on my TBR from that same author. That is The Loyal Wife. I bought that at a Second and Charles, I think a few weeks back, and I'm excited to get into that at some point. Not this month though, maybe next month. Let's see. The next book is Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. I already read the first one, The Housemaid, last month, I believe. Yes, it was one of my August books. And I loved The Housemaid. I know my expectations were high up for this one. Everyone kept saying that it's not as great as the first one, which I agree, it's not as great as the first one, but this is still fantastic. Like, this book is still unique and awesome, and I don't think you even need to read The Housemaid first, but you should. Like, go read The Housemaid. But this one was still great. It was a whole different story, at least to me. Someone said, oh, that's the same story as the first one, so she didn't like it. But I think that was still another twist that I didn't see, and I just love the main character, so great book. I also just found out that Frida is gonna publish a third one, so I am looking forward to that. We're gonna have to wait until next year, but I'm sure the wait will be worth it. Next one is my 5-star book for the month of September, my only 5-star book for the month of September. It is The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. This one I actually read with my own book club this month, and I was so excited to finally get into this. I bought this, I think, beginning of the year, and I just never picked it up. After reading, I was so upset at myself that I did not read this sooner. This was amazing. Amazing. I loved it. 5 stars. I have no words. This is definitely not what I expected at all. This is about, okay. Actually, this is too much to explain, so I'm gonna put the synopsis right here, and you can pause to read. And I must say, trigger warning, this is not like what I thought. I thought this is about a religious cult. I thought they escaped like a crazy, I don't know, religion fanatic person or whatever. No. Huge trigger warning. This book is about a Schmecks cult, and there's a lot of Schmecks in there. I don't know how YouTube is censoring. This is why I'm using funny words. Also, side note, do not listen to the audiobook with any family members or small children or anything, because I actually listened to the audiobook on my way to Orlando in the car with my mom. Because I still thought that this would be about a religious cult. And then she started talking about crazy like stuff. And I was driving, and my mom was sitting next to me, and I'm like, I ended up giving it 5 stars because I loved the story. I loved the female rage. I don't want to spoil too much. This is why I don't want to give away too much of the story. But this also scared me because I think this is how some, or maybe most men nowadays would still want the world to be. So this hits really close to like current events, or even the world we live in. Like, maybe they don't say it out loud, but I think many of the things that the men in this book said, I think this is how some men still think to this day, even though they wouldn't say it because they know they would be in trouble for this and they would be wrong for this. But if they would get the chance, what would they say? And you see, I already marked a couple passages, a couple parts that I just loved. Like, I wanted to keep some things in mind. So this is a book I'll definitely hold on to. I think I will reread it at some point because this is just too good. Okay, so we're already at the last one. This is another arc that I got. This is called Kill Show. It's actually already out. It was published on October 3rd, so you can already go to your favorite bookstore and buy this. This is a true crime novel, which is a perfect mix between like Chasing the Boogeyman and like a Navy CIS episode that you would watch on TV. And it's all written in Daisy Jones and the Six style, which means that this whole book is an interview. So you will see like all these people. I also love that other than in Daisy Jones and the Six, they always say in the parentheses who exactly that is, because you can't keep up with the name. So it always says, okay, this is this person, this is the mother, this is the brother, blah, 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 blah. So I really, that helped me because I got confused sometimes with Daisy Jones and the Six. So this is for my true crime lovers. This is the perfect novel. It's also not too long, 214 pages. And I also wasn't sure exactly what I would get myself into. Thanks again, HarperCollins, for giving me this arc. But I did not know what to expect. I also didn't know what that title exactly means. The book is about Sarah Parcells' disappearance from, I think, 20 years ago. No, 10 years. It's been 10 years since 16-year-old Sarah Parcell vanished without an explanation. Yes, so they basically 10 years later go about all the details again and everything, and I did not see where this was going. I did not know why he chose that title, but it all will make sense the deeper you get into the book. And there were some things that I also did not see coming. I really enjoy when I'm caught off guard. I was like, oh, wait, did he really did that happen? Like, it was a great read. I enjoyed it. If you like true crime and if you want to maybe reach your reading goal and want a book that is not too long, as I said, 214 pages, this is a great book. I enjoyed it, and I will definitely look out for any other books that this author is publishing. This sums up the books that I read in the month of September. As I said, my absolute favorite is The Last Housewife, but all others were great as well. I'm excited for the month of October. I already posted my spooky season TBR. If you're interested in knowing which books I want to read during October, just go to my earlier video and I have a whole list on those. But yes, let me know in the comments if you read any of these books. Let me know if any of these books piqued your interest, if you're gonna put any of those books on your TBR. Also, check out my Instagram and let's be friends on Goodreads for any more reviews and book recommendations. Have a great weekend. Bye.